Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an overview for this long travel 4th gen 4Runner with V8. It's going to go into depth about all the parts, costs associated with the parts, and there's going to be links in the description for all the parts I'm talking about, so if you're interested in getting these parts, you can get them yourself. And this model is actually a V8, and I have in the rear a locker, a Grizzly locker, similar to a Detroit locker, but it's a little different. And it's re-geared on 488 gears. Front end, you'll notice the custom bumper. I designed the bumper. Some friends of mine helped me weld it together. It's pretty robust. I did a lot of stuff. Some chromoly and DOM metal. And if you come closer, you'll notice I mounted a Harbor Freight Badland winch, incorporating the bumper, welded to this kind of bracket, like it came off a Jeep or something. And the model's Badland Apex 12,000. I think I got it for about $600 off Harbor Freight. It has a synthetic rope and this kind of cool fair lead. I have had zero issues with it. I've probably used it about 20 times. It connects right to the battery. And there's actually a remote switch with the. So I kind of have these kind of fairly cheap pod lights. They're not expensive. This brand's called Oxbeam. I think two of them ran me like $65, $70. They're pretty decent. They work, you know, and I don't even know the name of these. Some coworker of mine sold them to me, but they work pretty good. You don't need to buy like Baja design lights to have a good time off-road. In my opinion, it's just a waste of money. These ox beams have held up pretty good. I've taken them through the Rubicon, Death Valley, countless other trips. You can see the bumper a little bit, the custom bumper I was talking about earlier. It's held up pretty good, no issues at all. So in the front for the suspension, I have a Total Chaos 3.5-inch over long travel kit with uniballs on both upper and lower sides. I've pretty much have zero issues. I've been rock crawling quite a few times. I've done the Rubicon and a lot of trails in Big Bear, and I haven't had any really issues. The shocks are King shocks. They're 2.5s with reservoirs. They're rebuildable and tunable, so I really recommend Kings if you can afford it. Okay, so you'll notice the orange boot. These are RCVs. I really didn't want to buy them, but I eventually had to after breaking the CV axles numerous times. In IFS rigs, the CV axles are kind of a super weak point, so if you can, I highly recommend replacing them with more robust CV axles. Zero issues with RCVs. Been to the Rubicon multiple times. No issues at all. And if you notice, you'll see kind of a gusset on the spindle. They're not very expensive. You do have to disassemble everything, but they'll prevent the spindle from bending, and it's going to save you a lot of headache in the future. Even if you have some simple build with just like Bilsteins or something, take the spindle off, get these spindle gussets, and you're gonna be happy. Alright, so in the front, I've upgraded the cam tab bolts. Every time I'd like go wheeling really hard, the alignment would be out of whack, like literally every single time, and it was such a pain to find an alignment shop that was willing to align a vehicle with long travel. A lot of them turn you away. But anyway, these are cam tab eliminators. I'll send a link in the description. So it has a beefier bolt, and there's only 3 settings. Right now it's in neutral position, so you have neutral, positive, and negative, and that's it. And after that, you can really only adjust the tie rod. I have factory tie rods. I've had no issues yet so far, knock on wood. Been rock crawling. If you are against the rock, don't turn against the rock. You will break the tie rod joints. I have a couple spares in the car in case something happens. So if you notice near the upper control arm, there's this plate of metal. I got this from Total Chaos. They're called I think they're called upper control arm reinforcement plates or something. I'll send you the link in the description. But anyway, This prevents issues with the shock tower and the upper control arm getting out of whack. I recommend it if you already have your upper and lower control arms taken off. You might as well add this. It's really inexpensive. And especially if you're running long travel, there's no reason why you shouldn't have it to have the extra support. For tires, I got Falcon Wild Peak All-Terrains. They're pretty good in my opinion. They don't really make much noise when I'm going down the highway, and they're pretty capable off-road. They definitely have their limitations for rocks, but down the road I might get 37s and bead locks, but for now these work perfect for me. And in the middle I got Trick Rock rims. They're pretty cheesy name, but they've held up for quite some time. They're obviously scraped up a little bit, but I really don't see the reason why to buy these name brand rims that are going to get scratched up anyway. Unless you're going beadlock and like going rock crawling all the time, I really wouldn't bother, getting these other brands, Method, They're made from the same material. Even Method is still manufactured in China but engineered in California or the States. Alright, so for rock sliders, I went with Yoda Master's DIY kit. They're literally the cheapest sliders you can probably buy. Some of the aftermarket ones are like $1,000 or even more, but if you can weld or have a buddy that can weld, I recommend these. They're welded directly in the frame. So I have Coastal off-road skid plates. They start at the radiator and end at the end of the transmission. They're a weld-it-yourself kit, but they're significantly cheaper than like the fully assembled kind. And I've used it quite a bit. As you can see, they've prevented the radiator from getting damaged, along with the oil pan and transmission. If you're doing any type of rock crawling and your vehicle doesn't sit that low, I highly recommend getting good skid plates, or else you're going to destroy things. I actually punctured the petcock one year at the Rubicon, and it was a disaster. We eventually got it plugged, but not ideal. So in the rear, I have a Metal Tech long travel kit with some lower links that are DOM, really strong. I've rubbed against all these rocks and had no issues. And for suspension, I have the Icon 2.5 reservoir shocks that are rebuildable. They are tunable, but I really don't see much of a difference. And if you notice inside the frame, we have locked off-road bump stops. They're pretty good. They're significantly cheaper than King or Fox, and I haven't had any issues. A lot of people are using them nowadays. I don't really see the reason why you want to spend the extra money on Kings just for the name. So from the factory, the attachment points for the lower links aren't the greatest if you ever get into some scenario when you're rock crawling. I eventually upgraded to these after bending the metal on the inside. I wish I did it at the start of the build, but oh well. I'll send a link in the description. I forgot really the name. It has an E. So both the lower link on the aft end and the lower shock mount are reinforced with these reinforcement plates. It's a kit that you buy together, and it's going to prevent the factory metal from bending, because it will bend if you do any type of rock crawling, I guarantee it. So the differential has this kind of funny shape on it. It looks like a thong almost, but it's this reinforcement plate I got from Rough Stuff Specialty, and we welded directly on the differential. And this kind of prevents the differential from getting banged around or damaged when you're kind of backing into rocks. Definitely worth having. They sell other kits that are bolt-on that go over the whole housing, but you're going to spend some serious money on it. This, I think it was less than $100. Here we're looking at the panhard bar. It's pretty much homemade. I got some 1/4-inch thick tubing with some heims at the end and attached it. The factory bar was getting bent up from rocks, and it's been pretty good. I recommend it. The whole thing, I think maybe cost me a little over $100, maybe with the heims. And if you buy the pre-made ones, you're going to spend about maybe $300 to $400. So we have the panhard bar correction plate on here. It helps out a lot. If you have any type of lift with these like 5 link, it's not the right geometry, and this bracket, it helps make the vehicle feel planted when you're going around corners or driving in any condition, really. Very inexpensive, less than $100. Worth having. You should buy it. Okay, so for the rear bumper, I have a Northwest Trail Innovation DIY kit bumper. It's 3/16 steel. It's pretty robust, but it is very, very heavy. I banged a lot of rocks on it. Really had no issues. I recommend getting this bar. It'll prevent the quarter panel from getting damaged. So the bumper's been pretty good except for the tire swing out. I've had several issues with it. I had to reinforce the top metal with thicker metal on top of the existing metal. Maybe gusset at the bottom. Put the light on so you can see a little better. With these 35-inch tires, it's a lot of weight on the metal. So over time, the metal just kind of bent and cracked. But so far, it's been holding up pretty good. So with the kit, the bumper kit, I've had several issues with the hinge. Before, it was single shear, and it was constantly cracking and breaking after pretty much any type of like long off-road trail. I think it was after Death Valley I had all these cracks in it. But anyway, I upgraded to this double sheared hinge, and it's been really good. I got it from 4X Innovations, and I've had no issues with it. It comes with a bolt and these super robust plates that aren't going to bend at all. I banged against stuff from the Rubicon, they still held up really good. Alright, so this is a V8 4Runner, four-wheel drive, or actually all-wheel drive, but when you get these vehicles, they actually don't shift into two-wheel drive, so what you can do is you can put an FJ Cruiser transfer case inside, and you'll have the ability to manually shift to 4 low, 4 high, and 2 high. Cruiser transfer case swap, you're going to need different length drive shafts. The aft drive shaft is going to have to be about an inch longer, and then the front is going to be an inch shorter. So if you do the swap, get a hold of a decent driveline shop, run some numbers. Alright, so for long travel, it obviously is really good off-road on desert trails and rock crawling. It's significantly better with the extra articulation with the wheel travel. A lot of fun. Stuff you can do in a stock vehicle, you can just mob over stuff with the long travel. Thing is, when you're on road, you'll notice the different characteristics. Going on on-ramps, you'll have to like go at a decent speed. You can't like race through on-ramps with the long travel suspension. You're gonna have significant body roll. With this kit, it's 3.5 inch over. I don't even think there's any really sway bar made for this. I'm sure you could rig something up, but it doesn't really need it in the front with the extra width. It almost compensates for it. In the rear, though, it does move a bit. It doesn't get scary on road, but like I said, driving in street or on ramps, you're going to have significant roll. But anyway, that concludes the video. Thanks everybody for watching. Subscribe and like the video, please. I'm going to try to post more off-road trails in the future. One probably coming up in late September. A lot of things going on, so I can't dedicate my whole life to YouTube, but I'm going to make a decent effort at it. Thank you.